The ultimatum. The day the Zarkonian ships appeared in Earth's sky was the day humanity's innocence died. Massive vessels, each the size of a small city, cast ominous shadows over Earth's major metropolitan areas. Their arrival was sudden, silent, and terrifying. Global communication networks erupted in chaos as panicked reports flooded in from every corner of the planet. Governments scrambled to respond, militaries went on high alert, and civilians huddled in their homes, glued to screens that showed the same incomprehensible sight: alien ships hovering motionless above human civilization. It took less than an hour for the aliens to make first contact. Every electronic device on the planet simultaneously broadcast their message, a feat that demonstrated their technological superiority more effectively than their ships ever could. The face that appeared on screens worldwide was undeniably alien. Scaly blue skin stretched over sharp, angular features. 4 obsidian eyes blinked in unsettling asynchrony. When it spoke, its voice was a grating cacophony of clicks and hisses, yet somehow perfectly understandable in every human language. "People of Earth," the alien began, "I am High Commander Zexlor of the Zarkonian Empire. Your planet now stands at the threshold of a new era. We offer you a simple choice: submit to Zarkonian rule and be elevated to a glorious future among the stars, or resist and face annihilation. You have 24 Earth hours to deliver your unconditional surrender. Choose wisely." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving humanity in stunned silence. For a brief moment, the world held its breath. Then, chaos erupted. Emergency sessions of the United Nations convened. Military leaders huddled in war rooms. Scientists frantically analyzed what little data they had on the alien ships. And everywhere, ordinary people grappled with the sudden, paradigm-shifting reality that humanity was not alone in the universe, and our first contact was an ultimatum. As the deadline approached, a grim consensus emerged among Earth's leaders. Capitulation was unthinkable. Humanity would not kneel. With mere minutes to spare, a response was broadcast to the Zarkonian ships and to the world at large. Dr. Amelia Chen, Secretary General of the United Nations, delivered humanity's answer: "To the Zarkonian Empire, we, the people of Earth, have heard your demands. We have considered your ultimatum, and we categorically reject it. Earth is our home. Our freedom is non-negotiable. If you want our planet, you'll have to take it from us." The response was met with a roar of approval from billions around the world. Humanity, faced with an existential threat, had chosen to stand and fight. The Zarkonians wasted no time in making good on their threats. As soon as the 24-hour deadline passed, they launched their first assault. Energy beams lanced down from the ships, targeting military installations and defense systems. Missiles streaked skyward in response, only to detonate harmlessly against shimmering force fields. Fighter jets scrambled to engage, but were swatted from the sky like insects. In those first hours, it seemed as though the aliens' victory would be swift and absolute. Cities burned. Militaries crumbled. Millions perished. But even as the world burned, something unexpected happened. Humanity refused to break. In the smoldering ruins of Los Angeles, a group of survivors rigged up a makeshift communication system using salvaged alien tech. In the London Underground, scientists worked feverishly to decode the aliens' shielding frequencies. In the mountains of Peru, guerrilla fighters launched daring raids on Zarkonian ground forces, capturing vital equipment for study. Small pockets of resistance sprang up everywhere, each one a spark of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. The Zarkonians, accustomed to swift victories over cow populations, found themselves mired in a grueling war of attrition against an enemy that simply refused to quit. High Commander Zexlor, watching the conflict unfold from his command ship, felt the first stirrings of unease. These humans were proving far more troublesome than anticipated. Their technology was primitive, yes, but their tenacity was unlike anything the Zarkonians had encountered in their long history of conquest. As the first week of the war drew to a close, Zexlor made a fateful decision. He would personally lead a ground assault on New York City, intending to crush the human spirit once and for all with a display of Zarkonian might. Little did he know, this decision would set in motion a chain of events that would change the course of the war and the fate of two civilizations forever. In the rubble-strewn streets of Manhattan, as Zarkonian walkers advanced and human defenders prepared for what might be their last stand, a small team of scientists and hackers huddled in a fortified basement. They had just made a breakthrough in decoding the alien communications network. As the sounds of battle grew closer, Dr. Sarah Okello, a brilliant quantum physicist, looked up from her jury-rigged computer terminal with a fierce grin. "We're in," she announced to her team. "We can't control their systems yet, but we can listen. And what I'm hearing, well, let's just say these aliens aren't as invincible as they want us to think." Outside, the sky lit up with alien energy weapons and human artillery. The war for Earth was far from over, and humanity, battered but unbroken, was just beginning to reveal its true strength, adapting to adversity. The battle for New York City raged for days, a brutal slugfest that saw the gleaming skyscrapers of Manhattan reduced to twisted metal and shattered glass. High Commander Zexlor's ground assault, meant to be a decisive show of force, instead became a grueling war of attrition. Human defenders, vastly outgunned but intimately familiar with their urban battleground, turned every street into a killing field and every building into a fortress. They lured Zarkonian troops into elaborate traps, used the city's extensive subway system for lightning-fast ambushes, and even managed to bring down several of the towering alien walkers by collapsing weakened structures onto them. From his command post in Central Park, Zexlor watched with growing frustration as his forces were repeatedly stymied by human ingenuity and determination. What should have been a quick victory was turning into a costly quagmire. Meanwhile, deep beneath the streets, Dr. Sarah Okello and her team worked tirelessly to exploit their breakthrough in alien communications. They discovered that the Zarkonian military hierarchy was rigidly centralized, with most strategic decisions coming directly from Zexlor himself. This over-reliance on top-down command was a weakness they could exploit. Using their newfound access, Sarah's team began feeding false information into the Zarkonian tactical network. They created phantom human army groups, non-existent weapon emplacements, and illusory supply depots. The aliens, unable to distinguish this digital misinformation from reality, found themselves constantly off balance, attacking empty buildings and defending against non-existent threats. As the battle for New York dragged on, similar scenes played out across the globe. In the scorched Australian outback, Aboriginal trackers guided Special Forces teams in hit-and-run attacks on alien patrols. In the dense Amazon rainforest, native tribes worked alongside environmental scientists to develop bioweapons that could penetrate Zarkonian environmental suits. And in the frozen wastes of Siberia, Russian and Chinese forces joined together to lure a massive alien army into a devastating ambush amid the snowdrifts. Humanity, it seemed, excelled at asymmetric warfare. Where the Zarkonians expected to face massed armies and concentrated firepower, they instead encountered a maddeningly decentralized resistance that struck from the shadows and melted away before retaliation could be brought to bear. But perhaps the most significant human advantage came in the realm of technological adaptation. As more and more alien equipment was captured or salvaged from battlefields, human scientists and engineers worked feverishly to reverse engineer and repurpose it. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a material scientist in Tokyo, made a breakthrough in understanding the composition of Zarkonian armor. Within weeks, factories across Asia were churning out human body armor that could withstand direct hits from alien energy weapons. In Silicon Valley, a team led by artificial intelligence researcher Dr. Miguel Ortiz successfully hacked and reprogrammed a captured Zarkonian drone. Soon, the aliens found their own robotic scouts turned against them, feeding false data back to their commanders. And in a secret facility beneath the African savanna, a multinational team of physicists led by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah achieved the Holy Grail. They cracked the secret of the Zirconians' faster-than-light drive. Though Earth was still years away from building its own interstellar ships, the theoretical understanding gained from this breakthrough would prove crucial in the war's later stages. As human resistance stiffened and alien casualties mounted, the mood aboard the Zirconian command ship grew tense. High Commander Zexlor, his initial confidence shaken by the unexpected difficulties of the Earth campaign, faced growing dissent among his subordinates. High Commander, his chief strategist, Sub-Commander Vexera, ventured during a tense briefing. Perhaps we have underestimated these humans. Our losses are becoming unsustainable. We should consider withdrawing and reassessing our approach. Zexlor's 4 eyes narrowed dangerously. Withdraw. Before a primitive species that has barely mastered atomic power, the very suggestion is an insult to the Empire. No, we will not withdraw. We will escalate. With a sweep of his arm, he brought up a holographic display of Earth. Prepare our planet cracker weapon, he ordered. If these humans will not submit, we will shatter their world and harvest the pieces. A shocked murmur ran through the assembled officers. The planet cracker was a weapon of last resort, capable of literally tearing a world apart at the seams. Its use was strictly regulated by interstellar conventions that, until now, the Zirconian Empire had always respected. Sub-Commander Vexera stepped forward, mandibles clicking nervously. High Commander, with all due respect, the use of the planet cracker would be a violation of galactic law. The consequences, Zexlor interrupted, will be borne by anyone foolish enough to challenge us. This ends now. Prepare the weapon. As the Zirconian command ship began to power up its doomsday device, alarms blared in underground bunkers and hidden laboratories across Earth. The quantum entanglement sensors developed by Dr. Okello's team had detected the energy buildup, and its purpose was all too clear. In Washington, D.C., the remnants of the U.S. government convened an emergency session. In Moscow, the Russian military high command prepared to launch every weapon in their arsenal. And in a hardened facility deep beneath the Swiss Alps, the leaders of the European Union debated whether to attempt a desperate, preemptive nuclear strike against the Zirconian fleet. But it was in an unlikely location, a converted warehouse in Lagos, Nigeria, that humanity's best hope was taking shape. There, a team led by Dr. Adebayo Okafor had been working on a radical new technology, a device that could generate localized disruptions in the fabric of space-time itself. Originally conceived as a defensive measure against alien energy weapons, the device, dubbed the Reality Ripper by its creators, had shown unexpected promise in its test phases. Now, with doomsday looming, Dr. Okafor and his team worked frantically to scale up their prototype to ship-killing size. As the Zirconian planet cracker reached full power, a tense quiet fell over the embattled Earth. In New York, battered defenders peered out from the ruins at the ominously glowing alien ships above. In Tokyo, families huddled together in deep subway stations. And in Lagos, Dr. Okafor's team made their final calculations and prepared to activate their untested weapon. High Commander Zexlor stood on the bridge of his flagship, a sense of grim satisfaction settling over him as he prepared to give the order that would end this unexpectedly troublesome campaign once and for all. His finger hovered over the activation control. At that precise moment, Dr. Okafor's team in Lagos fired up the Reality Ripper. A burst of exotic particles shot skyward, invisible to the naked eye, but registering as a sudden, massive distortion on Zirconian sensors. Aboard the alien flagship, alarms blared. The carefully calibrated energies of the planet cracker weapon suddenly fluctuated wildly. Zexlor barely had time to shout a warning before a blinding flash lit up the sky. When the light faded, the Zirconian command ship was gone. In its place was a slowly expanding cloud of debris. The Reality Ripper had worked beyond its creator's wildest expectations, literally tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time and shunting a significant portion of the alien vessel into another dimension. The loss of their flagship, and more importantly, their high commander, threw the Zarkonian fleet into chaos. Ships veered out of formation, energy weapons firing wildly into space as panicked alien crews tried to figure out what had just happened. On Earth, there was a moment of stunned silence as the implications of what had just occurred sank in. Then, a roar of triumph rose from every corner of the globe. Humanity had survived its brush with extinction, and in doing so, had struck a devastating blow against their would-be conquerors. As the remaining Zarkonian ships retreated to a higher orbit to regroup, the mood on Earth shifted from desperation to cautious hope. For the first time since the invasion began, humans dared to believe that they might not just survive this war, but win it. In the days that followed, Dr. Okuffer's Reality Ripper technology was quickly shared with scientific teams around the world. Refinements and improvements were made at a feverish pace. What had started as a single jury-rigged device in Lagos soon became a global network of reality-warping weapons, giving humanity a fighting chance against the technologically superior invaders. The war was far from over. The Zarkonians still held orbital superiority, and their ground forces continued to occupy large swaths of territory. But the balance had shifted. Humanity, so recently on the brink of annihilation, now stood poised to take the fight to the stars. As news of the Reality Ripper's success spread, a palpable sense of excitement gripped the scientific community. Dr. Sarah Okello, conferencing from her New York bunker with colleagues around the world, summed up the mood. What we've done here isn't just about winning a war. We've made a fundamental breakthrough in our understanding of the universe. When this is over, the stars themselves will be our playground. Even as battles continued to rage across the globe, humanity's gaze began to turn upward. The Zarkonians had brought war to Earth. Soon, humanity would bring the war to them, turning the tide. The months following the destruction of the Zarkonian flagship marked a turning point in the war. With their rigid command structure in disarray, the alien forces on Earth found themselves increasingly isolated and vulnerable. Humanity, emboldened by its first major victory, pressed its advantage with a tenacity that surprised even its own leaders. In orbit, the remaining Zarkonian ships maintained a tenuous blockade, but their once impressive formation was now ragged and disorganized. Without High Commander Zexlor's iron-fisted leadership, subordinate commanders bickered among themselves, unable to agree on a cohesive strategy. On the ground, the tide of battle shifted dramatically. Armed with reverse-engineered alien technology and the game-changing Reality Ripper devices, human forces launched a series of coordinated offensives across the globe. In Europe, a coalition army spearheaded by French and German troops pushed alien forces out of the continental heartland. The Battle of the Rhine became the stuff of legend, with human soldiers using personal Reality Ripper devices to create localized wormholes, outflanking Zarkonian positions in ways the aliens couldn't anticipate or counter. Across the Pacific, a joint task force of American and Chinese Marines island-hopped their way through occupied territories, liberating population centers and capturing crucial alien supply depots. Their most significant victory came in the Philippines, where they managed to seize an intact Zarkonian ground-to-orbit transport, providing humanity with its first means of reaching space under its own power. But perhaps the most crucial battle of this phase of the war took place in the skies over Brazil. There, a multinational air force led by Brazilian and Indian pilots engaged the largest remaining concentration of Zarkonian air power in a sprawling days-long dogfight that came to be known as the Maelstrom over the Amazon. Wing Commander Aisha Patel, flying an experimental fighter equipped with salvaged alien propulsion technology, found herself at the heart of the battle. Her voice, tense but determined, crackled over the radio to her squadron. "Remember your training. Use the canopy for cover. Their targeting systems can't penetrate the foliage, but ours can. Hit and fade. We're hornets, they're elephants. Sting them to death." The result was a decisive victory for Earth's defenders. Zirconian air superiority, once absolute, was broken. For the first time since the invasion began, humans could look up at their sky without fear. As alien forces retreated from population centers, humanity got its first real look at the toll of the war. Great cities lay in ruins. Vast swathes of countryside had been scorched by energy weapons or polluted by exotic alien substances. The global death toll numbered in the hundreds of millions. But amid the devastation, there were signs of hope and renewal. The shared struggle against the invaders had united humanity in ways previously unimaginable. Ancient rivalries and conflicts were set aside in the face of a common enemy. A new sense of global identity began to emerge, transcending old notions of nationality or ethnicity. We were all Earthlings now, bound together by our fight for survival. This new unity proved crucial as humanity prepared for the next phase of the war. With the Zirconians driven from Earth's surface and their orbital forces in disarray, military and scientific leaders agreed. It was time to take the fight to the enemy. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, speaking from a holographic podium to a global audience, outlined the ambitious plan. Thanks to the captured Zirconian transport and our breakthroughs in propulsion technology, we now have the means to reach space, but that's just the beginning. The Reality Ripper technology, combined with what we've learned about Zirconian FTL drives, gives us the theoretical foundation for our own faster-than-light travel. She paused, allowing the implications to sink in before continuing. Make no mistake, what I'm proposing is a leap into the unknown. We'll be building the ship as we fly it, so to speak, but we have no choice. As long as the Zirconian Empire exists, Earth will never be safe. We must take the war to them, across the stars if necessary. The response was a global surge of volunteerism and industrial mobilization unprecedented in human history. Shipyards retooled to produce spacecraft. Universities became round-the-clock research centers, and a new generation of pilots, soldiers, and explorers began training for the greatest adventure in human history. The culmination of these efforts was the HSS Humanity's Hope, Earth's first true starship. Built in orbit using a mixture of human and salvaged alien technology, it was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. At its heart was a Reality Ripper-derived FTL drive that could fold space itself, allowing for travel between star systems in a matter of days rather than years. As the ship neared completion, the selection of its crew became a matter of intense global interest. In the end, a truly international team was chosen, representing the best and brightest from every corner of the Earth. Captain Elena Rodriguez, a veteran of the Battle of New York, would command the mission. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the physicist who had first cracked the secrets of Zirconian FTL technology, signed on as Chief Science Officer, and Wing Commander Aisha Patel, hero of the Maelstrom over the Amazon, would lead the ship's fighter squadron. On the day of launch, billions watched via holographic displays as the Humanity's Hope prepared to make its first FTL jump. In mission control, Dr. Sarah Okello, who had been instrumental in developing the ship's exotic matter containment systems, held her breath as the final countdown began. Captain Rodriguez's voice, calm and clear, came over the global broadcast. People of Earth, we go now to carry your hopes and your determination to the stars. We do not seek conquest or domination. We seek only to secure a lasting peace for our world and all worlds. The Zirconians fought to teach us our place in the universe. Instead, we will show them, and ourselves, humanity's true potential. With a flash of light and a ripple of distorted space-time, the Humanity's Hope vanished from Earth orbit, bound for the heart of Zirconian space. The journey that followed would become the stuff of legend, told and retold for generations to come. The Humanity's Hope made its way through uncharted star systems, establishing Earth's first extrasolar colonies and making first contact with a dozen alien species along the way. Some of these encounters were peaceful, leading to alliances that would prove crucial in the coming conflict. The Praxi, a race of silicon-based life forms, were particularly impressed by humanity's reality ripper technology and eagerly joined the fight against their old Zarkonian oppressors. Other encounters were hostile, as the ship stumbled upon isolated Zarkonian outposts or vassal worlds. In these skirmishes, the human crew proved their mettle time and again, combining their new technology with tactics honed in the crucible of Earth's defense. But the most significant discovery came in the Antares system, where the humanity's hope encountered a massive space station unlike anything they had seen before. Initial scans revealed it to be a hub of Zarkonian military activity, possibly even the headquarters of their entire empire. As the ship hung in space, cloaked by its reality ripper field, Captain Rodriguez convened a meeting of her senior staff. "This is it," she said, gesturing to the holographic display of the station. "Everything we fought for, everything we've sacrificed, has led us to this moment. If we can take that station, we can end this war." Dr. Nkrumah spoke up, his voice tinged with excitement and trepidation. "Captain, I've been analyzing the station's energy readings. There's something unusual about its core. It's putting out more power than anything we've ever seen, by several orders of magnitude." Wing Commander Patel leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "A weapon?" "Possibly," Nkrumah replied. "Or it could be the source of their FTL technology. Either way, it's clear that this station is key to Zarkonian power in this sector of the galaxy." Captain Rodriguez nodded, her decision made. "Then we have no choice. We have to take it. Prepare for battle stations. We're going in." As klaxons blared throughout the ship and crew members rushed to their posts, humanity stood on the brink of its greatest challenge yet. The outcome of this battle would determine not just the fate of Earth, but potentially the balance of power in the entire galaxy. In the fighter bay, Wing Commander Patil climbed into her cockpit, her heart racing with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. As she ran through her pre-flight checks, she allowed herself a small smile. Who would have thought, she mused, that a girl from Mumbai would end up dogfighting aliens in another star system? Across the ship, similar scenes played out. Scientists calibrated weapons systems that bent the very fabric of reality. Marines checked and rechecked their powered armor, reverse-engineered from Zarkonian designs, but distinctly human in their aesthetics and functionality. And in the medical bay, doctors stood ready to treat injuries that no human physician had ever encountered before. On the bridge, Captain Rodriguez took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. With a nod to her communications officer, she opened a channel to the entire ship. "Crew of the Humanity's Hope, this is the captain speaking. In a few moments, we will engage the enemy in what may be the decisive battle of this war. I won't lie to you. The odds are long, and the danger is great, but I want you to remember why we're here." She paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. "We're here for every child who looked up at the stars with wonder, not fear. For every dreamer who imagined a future among the cosmos. For every soul lost in this terrible war, and for every survivor who refuses to give up hope. We're here because humanity does not bow, does not break, and does not surrender." Her voice rose, filled with determination and pride. "We are the children of Earth, inheritors of a legacy that stretches back millions of years. From the first ape-like ancestors who stood upright and gazed at the horizon, to the pioneers who first set foot on the moon, to each and every one of you here today, we are the culmination of humanity's relentless drive to explore, to understand, and to overcome. The Zarkonians fought to conquer us, to add our world to their empire of fear. Instead, they awakened a sleeping giant. Today, we show them, and the universe, what humanity is truly capable of." As cheers erupted throughout the ship, Captain Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. Then, her expression hardening into one of fierce determination, she gave the order that would change the course of history. "Battle stations, everyone. Let's go make history." With that, the Humanity's Hope decloaked and surged forward, hurtling towards the massive Zarkonian station. The final battle for Earth's future and humanity's place in the cosmos was about to begin. The fall of an empire. The space around the Zarkonian command station erupted into chaos as the humanity's hope decloaked and launched its assault. Caught off guard by the sudden appearance of an unknown ship, the station's defenses were slow to respond, giving the human vessel precious seconds to close the distance. Wing Commander Aisha Patel led the first wave of fighters out of the launch bay, her voice steady as she directed her squadron. "Remember your training, people. We're not just pilots anymore. We're humanity's vanguard. Let's show these Zarkonians what Earth can do." The human fighters, each equipped with miniaturized Reality Ripper technology, danced through space in ways that defied conventional physics. They blinked in and out of existence, appearing behind Zarkonian patrol ships and unleashing devastating barrages before vanishing again. Aboard the Humanity's Hope, Captain Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with a mixture of pride and concern. "Status report," she barked, her eyes never leaving the tactical display. "Shields holding at 89%, came the response from the defense station. "Zarkonian fighters are launching, but they seem disorganized. Our Reality Ripper drive is giving us a significant tactical advantage." Dr. Nkruma's voice cut in, tinged with excitement. "Captain, I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations from the station's core. Whatever's powering that thing, it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "That core is our primary objective. If we can capture or neutralize it, we might just end this war today. Helm, bring us in closer. Weapons, prepare to fire the main Reality Ripper cannon." As the Humanity's Hope pushed deeper into the heart of Zarkonian defenses, the aliens began to rally. Swarms of fighters poured out of hidden hangars, while the station's energy weapons came to life, filling space with a deadly lattice of beam fire. In her fighter, Wing Commander Patel gritted her teeth as she barrel-rolled through a hail of enemy fire. "They're starting to adapt to our tactics," she reported. "We need a new approach." Captain Rodriguez's mind raced, weighing options and potential strategies. Then, a daring plan formed. "Aisha, form up your squadron and prepare for a coordinated strike. We're going to open a Reality Ripper portal right in front of the station's main hangar. I want you to fly through and wreak havoc from the inside." "Understood, Captain," Patel replied, a hint of a smile in her voice. Time to bring the fight to them. The next few minutes were a blur of action. The Humanity's Hope unleashed its main Reality Ripper cannon, tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time directly in front of the Zarkonian hangar. Patel's squadron streaked through, emerging inside the alien station in a maneuver that defied every law of conventional space combat. Alarms blared throughout the Zarkonian command station as human fighters appeared seemingly out of nowhere, launching missiles and strafing runs against vital systems. In the confusion, the station's defensive fire slackened, allowing the Humanity's Hope to close to boarding range. "Now's our chance," Rodriguez announced. "Prepare boarding parties. We're going in." Squads of human Marines, clad in powered armor that melded human ingenuity with reverse-engineered Zarkonian tech, launched from the ship. They used personal Reality Ripper devices to phase through the station's hull, bypassing external defenses entirely. The interior of the station became a battleground unlike any in human history. Marines traded fire with Zarkonian defenders in twisting corridors where gravity shifted unpredictably. Scientists, linked to the ship's AI, worked feverishly to hack alien systems and turn the station's own defenses against it. At the heart of it all, Captain Rodriguez led a specially assembled team towards the station's mysterious core. With each step deeper into the alien fortress, the energy readings grew stronger, and an odd humming filled the air. "Whatever's powering this station," Dr. Nkruma's voice came through the team's comms. "It's not just a power source. These readings, it's almost as if it's warping reality itself." As they approached the central chamber, resistance stiffened. Elite Zarkonian guards, armed with weapons that could disintegrate matter at a touch, made a desperate last stand. In the thick of the fighting, a young Marine named Carlos Ortiz found himself face to face with a Zarkonian officer. Time seemed to slow as human and alien locked eyes, each seeing in the other a mirror of determination and fear. For a brief moment, the absurdity of the situation struck Carlos. Here he was, a kid from the streets of Sao Paulo, fighting an alien on a space station light years from Earth. He let out a short, sharp laugh, then ducked as the Zarkonian's energy blade sliced through the air where his head had been a moment before. The skirmish was brutal but brief. Human adaptability and desperate courage proved a match for Zarkonian technology and training. As the last defender fell, Captain Rodriguez stepped forward and placed her hand on the massive door sealing the core chamber. "This is it," she said, her voice tight with tension. "Whatever happens next, remember, we do this for Earth." The door slid open with a hiss, revealing a sight that took their breath away. At the center of a vast, spherical chamber floated what could only be described as a miniature star, a roiling mass of energy contained within a complex array of alien technology. "Incredible," breathed Dr. Nkrumah, his scientific curiosity momentarily overriding the danger of their situation. "It's some kind of artificial singularity. The power output it's beyond anything we could have imagined." But they had little time to marvel. From the shadows surrounding the central platform, a figure emerged, tall, regal, and radiating an aura of menace that made even the battle-hardened humans step back. "So," the alien's voice boomed, somehow understandable despite its inhuman timbre, "the upstart humans have found their way to the heart of our empire. I am Supreme Overlord Cathax, last of the Zarkonian eternal line. You have fought well, but your journey ends here." Captain Rodriguez stepped forward, her weapon raised but her voice steady. "It's over, Cathax. Your forces are in disarray. Earth has risen, and we're not alone. Surrender now, and we can end this war without further bloodshed." Cathax's laughter was like the grinding of tectonic plates. "Surrender? You understand nothing, human. This station, this power source, it is but a fraction of the Zarkonian Empire's might. What you've seen so far has been mere child's play." With a gesture, the alien leader summoned a holographic display of the galaxy. Thousands of points of light flared to life, each representing a Zarkonian world or fleet. "Behold the true extent of our dominion," Cathax gloated. "Your victory here means nothing. Even now, vast armadas are assembling, preparing to reduce your pitiful Earth to cosmic dust." The human team exchanged glances, the weight of this revelation settling heavily upon them. Everything they'd fought for, every sacrifice made, had it all been for nothing? But then, something unexpected happened. Carlos Ortiz, the young Marine who had laughed in the face of death just moments ago, stepped forward. His voice shook slightly, but his words rang with conviction. "You're wrong," he said, addressing the alien overlord directly. "Our victory here means everything, because we've proven something, not just to you, but to ourselves and to the galaxy. We've proven that humanity doesn't bow, doesn't break." He gestured to his fellow soldiers, to the scientists and the captain. "Look at us. We're not a warrior race. We're not an empire. We're just people who decided that freedom was worth fighting for. And if we can make it this far, if we can challenge the might of your empire, imagine what we'll do next." Cathax's expression was unreadable, but there was a new note in his voice, something almost like uncertainty. "You would continue to resist, even in the face of certain doom." Captain Rodriguez picked up the thread, her own voice gaining strength. "We would, and we wouldn't be alone. Your empire is vast, Cathax, but how many of those worlds you've conquered are just waiting for a chance to rise up? How many species dream of the day they can throw off Zarkonian rule?" She stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "You've ruled through fear for too long. But today, we've shown the galaxy something more powerful than fear, hope. And that hope will spread, faster than your fleets can travel, farther than your empire can reach." For a long moment, Silence reigned in the chamber. The fate of Earth, of humanity, of the entire galaxy hung in the balance. Then, with emotion almost too fast to follow, Kithax reached for a control panel near the singularity containment field. Captain Rodriguez shouted a warning. Weapons were raised, but they were too slow. The alien overlord's hand slammed down on the panel, and for a heartbeat, the humans thought all was lost. But instead of the station's powers surging to life, instead of doom raining down upon them, something else happened. A holographic display of the galaxy flickered, then changed. The thousands of points of Zarkonian control winked out, replaced by a new map, one showing the true extent of their empire, far smaller and more fragile than the bluff Kithax had presented. "You are not entirely wrong, human," Kithax said, his voice heavy with what might have been regret. "Our empire has been crumbling for centuries, kept alive only by the fear of our supposed invincibility. But you've shattered that illusion, not just for yourselves, but for every species we've subjugated." He turned to face the human team fully, drawing himself up to his full, impressive height. "I am the last of my line, and I will not see the Zarkonian legacy end in total destruction. So I offer you this, representatives of Earth, a truce. Help us find a new way forward, and in exchange, we will share with you the knowledge of 1,000 worlds." Captain Rodriguez lowered her weapon slowly, hardly daring to believe what she was hearing. "You're proposing an alliance?" Kithax nodded, the gesture oddly human. "An alliance, a partnership, call it what you will. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders and terrors beyond imagining. Perhaps it is time for a new approach, one that combines Zarkonian experience with human adaptability." The chamber fell silent as the implications of this offer sank in. It was Dr. Nkrumah who finally broke the silence, his voice filled with cautious optimism. "Captain," he said, "this could be the beginning of something extraordinary. Not just peace, but a chance to explore the cosmos in ways we've only dreamed of." Rodriguez looked around at her team, seeing in their eyes the same mix of hope and determination that had brought them this far. Then she turned back to Kithax, extended her hand, and spoke the words that would change the course of galactic history. "Supreme Overlord Kithax, on behalf of Earth and humanity, I accept your offer. Let this be the dawn of a new era, for all of us." As human and Zarkonian clasped hands, or their equivalent appendages, the artificial singularity at the heart of the station pulsed, as if in approval. The war that had begun with an ultimatum and near annihilation was ending with an unprecedented opportunity for peace and discovery. In that moment, standing in the heart of what had once been the seat of an oppressive empire, humanity took its first true steps into a larger universe. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with diplomatic hurdles, cultural misunderstandings, and the monumental task of reshaping a galactic society. But as news of the truce spread, first to the humanity's hope, then to the fleet waiting anxiously back in the Sol system, and finally to the war-weary population of Earth itself, a wave of jubilation and wonder swept through humanity. They had not merely survived. They had not simply won a war. They had changed the very nature of their existence, catapulting themselves from a single vulnerable world to a major player on the galactic stage. As Captain Elena Rodriguez looked out at the star-studded expanse, visible through the station's viewing port, she allowed herself a small smile. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders or dangers the universe held in store, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity was ready. A new era dawns. The years following the truce between humanity and the Zarkonian Empire were a time of unprecedented change and growth for both species. The galaxy watched in fascination as former enemies became partners in one of the most ambitious cooperative endeavors in cosmic history. Earth, once an isolated blue marble on the fringes of the galactic community, became a hub of interstellar diplomacy and cultural exchange. The first Zarkonian embassy opened in New York City, its crystalline spires a striking contrast to the human architecture surrounding it. In return, a human diplomatic mission was established on Zarkon Prime, the aliens' homeworld. Dr. Sarah Okello, whose work on the reality ripper technology had been crucial to humanity's victory, found herself at the forefront of a new scientific renaissance. Working alongside Zarkonian scientists, she led efforts to combine human ingenuity with alien technical knowledge. "It's extraordinary," she remarked during a global address celebrating the 5th anniversary of the truce. "We're not just learning new facts or techniques, we're discovering entire new ways of thinking about the universe. The Zarkonians' understanding of higher dimensional physics is revolutionizing our approach to everything from energy production to medicine." Indeed, the fruits of this collaboration soon began to transform life on Earth. Clean, nearly limitless energy became a reality as miniaturized versions of the Zarkonian singularity reactors were adapted for human use. Diseases once thought incurable fell to medical techniques that manipulated the fundamental forces of reality itself. But the changes were not just technological. The very fabric of human society evolved as people grappled with their new place in a vast, diverse galaxy. Schools began teaching xenobiology and astropolitics alongside traditional subjects. Artists incorporated alien aesthetics into their work, creating new forms of expression that bridged the gap between species. Carlos Ortiz, the young Marine whose words had helped sway the course of history in that fateful confrontation with Supreme Overlord Cathax, became something of a celebrity. His story, from street kid in Sao Paulo to galactic peacemaker, captured the public imagination. He used his newfound fame to advocate for education and opportunity for underprivileged youth, often saying, "If a kid like me can help change the galaxy, imagine what we could accomplish if every child had the chance to reach their full potential." Not everyone embraced the new galactic order, of course. Some humans remained deeply suspicious of the Zarkonians, viewing the truce as a clever ploy by the aliens to infiltrate and eventually dominate Earth. Similarly, there were factions within the Zarkonian Empire who saw their leadership's decision to ally with humans as a sign of weakness. These tensions came to a head 10 years after the truce, when a group of hardline Zarkonian militarists attempted a coup on their homeworld. They sought to overthrow Cathax, sever ties with humanity, and return the Empire to its conquering ways. The galaxy held its breath as news of the coup attempt spread. Would this be the spark that reignited interstellar war? The answer came swiftly and decisively, from a source that surprised many. Captain Elena Rodriguez, now Admiral of Earth's growing Starfleet, didn't hesitate. Without waiting for bureaucratic approval, she ordered the Humanity's Hope and its accompanying battle group to set course for Zarkon Prime at maximum speed. "We didn't come this far, didn't sacrifice so much, to let a few reactionaries drag us back into conflict," she declared as her ships prepared to jump. "The Zarkonians are our allies now, and humanity stands by its allies." The sight of human warships appearing in Zarkonian skies, not as conquerors, but as defenders of the legitimate government, was a powerful symbol. It rallied loyal Zarkonian forces and demoralized the coup plotters. The rebellion was put down with minimal bloodshed, and the alliance emerged stronger than ever. In the aftermath, Cathax addressed a joint session of the newly formed Galactic Council, his words broadcast across thousands of worlds. "Today, we have witnessed the true strength of our alliance, not in weapons or technology, but in trust and shared purpose. The humans came to our aid not because of treaty obligations or political calculations, but because they saw us as friends in need. This, more than anything, convinces me that our two species have a great destiny together among the stars." As the immediate crisis passed, humanity's attention turned once more to the vast frontier of space. The combination of human exploratory zeal and Zarkonian star charts opened up unprecedented opportunities for discovery and colonization. The first joint human-Zarkonian colony was established on a pristine world orbiting Proxima Centauri. Named New Horizon, it became a symbol of interspecies cooperation and a testing ground for new ideas in governance and community building. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whose work on FTL technology had been instrumental in humanity's space exploration, led the scientific mission to New Horizon. In his first transmission back to Earth, he could barely contain his excitement. Colleagues, friends, we stand on the soil of a new world, breathing air no human has breathed before. But we do not stand alone. Beside us are our Zarkonian partners, and together we will build something truly revolutionary here. This is not just a colony. It's a blueprint for our shared future. New Horizon became famous for its innovations in sustainable living and harmonious interspecies relations. Its success sparked a wave of colonial expansion, with joint human-Zarkonian expeditions venturing ever further into the galactic frontier. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. As humanity spread among the stars, they encountered new challenges and dangers. Ancient alien ruins hinted at long-vanished civilizations and mysteries beyond current understanding. Uncharted space phenomena threatened unwary travelers. And there were other species in the galaxy, not all of them friendly. 20 years after the truce, humanity faced its greatest challenge since the Zarkonian War. A probe sent to explore the galactic core returned with disturbing data and a warning. Something vast and incomprehensible was stirring in the heart of the Milky Way, something that defied known physics and dwarfed even the Zarkonian Empire at its height. As scientists scrambled to interpret the data, military leaders from a dozen species convened emergency sessions. The Galactic Council chambers buzzed with theories and speculation. Was it a natural phenomenon, a superweapon left behind by some long-dead precursor race, or something truly alien, so far beyond current understanding that it could only be perceived as a threat? In the midst of this galactic crisis, it was once again a human who stepped forward with a perspective that would shape the response. Dr. Aisha Patel, the former wing commander who had become one of the foremost xenoanthropologists, addressed the council. Distinguished representatives, we stand at a crossroads. Before us lies a mystery that could be our greatest threat, or our greatest opportunity. But how we approach it will determine which it becomes. She paused, her gaze sweeping the assembled delegates before continuing. Throughout our history, humanity has faced the unknown. From the first tribes venturing beyond familiar hunting grounds, to the explorers who mapped our world, to the pioneers who reached for the stars. We have always been driven to push boundaries, to seek understanding where others saw only danger. Yes, what lies at the galactic core may be perilous, but it is also a chance for us to come together, to pool our knowledge and resources in a way we never have before. Humans, Zarkonians, and every other species represented here. We each bring unique perspectives and abilities to this challenge. I propose we form an unprecedented joint expedition, not a military force, though we should be prepared to defend ourselves, but primarily a mission of science and diplomacy. Let us approach this mystery not with fear, but with curiosity and hope. Her words resonated through the council chambers, sparking intense debate. But in the end, the proposal was adopted. The greatest minds from a dozen species came together to plan the most ambitious expedition in galactic history. As preparations for the mission got underway, a palpable sense of excitement gripped not just Earth, but countless worlds across the galaxy. It was a reminder of how far humanity had come. From a single vulnerable planet to a driving force in a grand cosmic alliance. The night before the expedition was set to depart, a gala celebration was held on the grounds of the old United Nations in New York, under a sky filled with the twinkling lights of orbital habitats and visiting alien ships. Representatives from across the galaxy mingled. Carlos Ortiz, now a respected statesman and Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, found himself sharing a quiet moment with Supreme Overlord Cathax. The human and the Zarkonian stood side by side, gazing up at the stars. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Carlos asked, gesturing to the diverse crowd around them. "When you first came to our world with plans of conquest." Cathax made a sound that might have been a chuckle. "Never in 1,000 lifetimes," the alien leader admitted. "Your species continually surprises me, Carlos. Just when I think I understand humans, you show me something new." Carlos smiled. That's kind of our specialty, isn't it? Doing the unexpected. Indeed, Kthax agreed. And I suspect that trait will serve us all well in the challenges to come. As if on cue, a murmur ran through the crowd. All eyes turned skyward as a brilliant point of light appeared, growing brighter by the second. It was the expedition ship, making a low pass over the city before beginning its journey to the galactic core. The massive vessel, a triumph of joint engineering, represented the best of what the Alliance had achieved. Its hull incorporated Zarkonian alloys and human-designed energy fields. Its drive systems combined alien FTL technology with human innovations in reality ripper physics. And its crew was the most diverse ever assembled. Humans and Zarkonians working alongside representatives from a dozen other species. As the ship streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of ethereal light in its wake, a cheer rose from the assembled crowd. It was a cheer of hope, of shared purpose, of eyes fixed firmly on the future. In that moment, Carlos felt a profound sense of pride, not just in humanity, but in what they had accomplished together with their one-time enemies. They had taken the first tentative steps into a larger universe, and now they were poised to leap into the unknown once more. Whatever lay waiting in the galactic core, threat or wonder or both, humanity would face it not alone, but as part of something greater. They had found their place among the stars, not through conquest or submission, but through courage, adaptability, and an unquenchable spirit of exploration. As the expedition ship vanished from view, bound for the heart of the galaxy and whatever mysteries awaited there, Carlos raised his glass in a toast. Around him, humans and aliens alike did the same, united in a moment of shared anticipation and determination. To the future, he said simply, and across 1,000 worlds, in 1,000,000 voices and 100 languages, the sentiment was echoed. To the future. The story of humanity's great war was over, but their greatest adventure, their true journey to the stars, was just beginning.